Hello everybody, I'm back. So today we're going to talk about my visit to the surgeon. I went in expecting to talk about my surgery coming up with a mastectomy. So she sat me down and we started talking, talking generally about cancer, breast cancer again, and explaining the different treatments. If you have a mastectomy, if you have a lumpectomy, what does it mean in terms of the chance of it coming back? And so basically with a lumpectomy where they just take out part of the breast, she said the best thing to do with that is to follow with both chemo and radiation. Radiation is a must. Well, not a must, it can't make you do anything, but if you do all those three things, then there's only an 8% chance of it coming back. And with a mastectomy, if you take the whole breast away, then you don't necessarily have to do radiation at the end, but you still need to do chemo. And then, but if the tumor is bigger, then you would have to do radiation as well at the end. So she's going on and on about all this and the percentages of coming back. She did a breast exam. She explained to me that, the tumor was quite a large size, but it was good in my case because it didn't seem to be attached to anything, so that was a good thing. She explained that the HER2 results still weren't in, so I didn't have any answers with that. And then she all of a sudden started talking about me doing chemotherapy. And she says, well, we're going to start you because of the size of your tumor. We're going to start you on chemotherapy first. And I was just like, the proverbial, deer in the headlights. And I'm like, what? I thought we were going to talk about surgery. No. They want to shrink the tumor ahead of time. It makes surgery easier. Plus, then they can also gauge how the chemotherapy is working in your body. And they can also, rather than waiting for surgery, it can also work on stopping the cancer, or hopefully stopping the cancer from spreading to anywhere else. So that was what she recommended. And I was just, as soon as she said chemo 4 to 6 months, I just froze and started crying. And she goes running over and grabs the tissues. Kleenexes are free. And so it's a little hard to concentrate after that. But she did explain that it was going into the hospital, which is it's at least a 45-minute drive for me. That's if traffic is good. So going in and doing that, at least a 3-hour visit each time, having it done with the IV, et cetera, et cetera. And she explained that after about 2 months on chemo, she'd have me back in, and then they would look at the size of the tumor, et cetera, and see whether or not I was responding to that. So she said, I'm going to set you up with an oncologist. So an oncologist is someone who does the medical aspect of managing people's cancer. And they will meet with you and come up with a cocktail that they give you in your IV. So she was going to start that, and she also wanted a whole bunch of scans and tests done. So she was going to order up a bone scan, a CT scan, and something called a MUGA scan. A MUGA scan is one that scans how well your heart is functioning, and also blood work. So I left the office with my head reeling and waiting to hear about these scans, and realizing that my journey is probably going to take up to a year to get through before I can even think of working again or being back to even close to full health. So you do the chemo, and then you've got to heal from that enough so that you can then do surgery. And then you do the surgery, and then you have to heal enough from that then to do the radiation. So some people work while they're doing the chemo. Everybody reacts to it differently. You don't know how you're going to react until you do it. And so for me, I was just at that point coming off of the COVID. I was subbing a little bit in daycares, doing some overnight care for a nurse, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't think I can be working with children if I'm going to be immunocompromised. So it was like, I'm going to be grounded again for even longer than the so far COVID experience. So that was very sobering. There's lots of work out there right now for people who work with children, because a lot of people aren't comfortable working during the COVID time. So yeah, that was like the worst news for me. It was worse than the mastectomy. Like a mastectomy, you go in for surgery, you have 2 weeks maybe of uncomfortable, stressful time. Chemo, you go in for up to 6 months. You go in, you get sick, you recover, you're just feeling better, and then you go in again. So I was not a very happy camper. I'm the type of person who doesn't even like taking aspirins unless I'm in a lot of pain. I'd rather put in good stuff into my body, not toxic stuff into my body. So that was very upsetting, still is, and I'm still freaked out about it. But my lovely sister is going to still come, and rather than nursing me through the mastectomy, she's going to come and go with me to meet the oncologist and to go through the first chemo treatment together, because that's going to be the first daunting, all the unknowns with that. So that's pretty wonderful. And in the meantime, while I wait for this, my oncologist appointment is July 14th. So leading up to that, I'm going to do some research, as I like to do, and plan as best as I can how to help my body get through this time of chemo. What can I do to prep ahead of time that takes some of the burden off of the people caregiving for me if I need it. Yeah, stuff like that. The next segment I'm going to do is actually going to be on prepping for chemo based on what I've researched and heard from other people. And I'm going to show you a box full of goodies, things that may or may not help with the chemo, but at least I've got it handy. Don't have to run out to the store and get it. And I'm thinking for people who maybe know people who are going through cancer and have to do chemo, a lovely thing would be to maybe get some of those items and give them a little gift basket, because all of these things, they just keep adding up cost-wise. There's costs for everything, and $10 to $20 per item adds up pretty quick. So yeah, that will be my next video. So I will make it through this. Much as I hate it, I know it will. It is just another step in the journey of healing. And unfortunately, you need to get sicker before you get better in the journey of chemotherapy. So I never thought I would do it. I always said, if I ever get cancer, I'll just cut it out and not do chemo. But now that I'm here, at least I'm choosing to just follow the advice of the physicians and not let fear stop me from doing the best I can to win this fight. So I think that's it for now. I'll talk to you again soon. I hope you guys are all doing well. And yeah, see you later. God bless.